Everybody. I am on a slightly bit earlier today because we overran last week, which was fantastic. However, um, I have another meeting straight after this one, so I thought let's get on a little bit early so that we can get through everything that we want to. So thank you so much to everybody that has been joining me on the live so far. We are on our second live streaming for Mind to raise money for suicide awareness. Morning, Helen. Thank you for joining me again. Nice to see you. So last week we did goal setting and mindset. Thank you to those that attended that, and I hope you managed to get some useful information out of there. This week we are looking at confidence and self-belief. Morning, everybody. As always, my other half Tim will be on there sharing some links with you this morning because we've got lots and lots of tools and helpful things to help you with this particular topic. So I'll start off by talking a little bit about why we are here, which is for Mind. So 1 in 4 people experience poor mental health in their lifetime, in each year. And 1 in 15 of us will attempt suicide during our lifetime. So those are really, really massive figures. Last year, 24 million people used Mind's resources and visited their web pages. So it just goes to show that that information is needed. So please do, if you can, donate. Tim will be popping the link to the Just Giving page, and I'll be mentioning it as we go through. But yeah, if you could do this, this is all for Mind, it's all for a good cause, it's all to raise awareness, to prevent suicide. Let's all do what we can. So, okay, so straight on to confidence and self-belief. So this is something that has been quite a big thing in my life. You wouldn't think with me doing these lives that I'm not particularly a confident person, but I'm really not. So when we're children, when we're born, we don't have any horrible thoughts or think anything negative about ourselves. We're confident, we're babies, it's all there. We're learning, we're growing. But from being a baby up to the age of about 7, we are on record. So that's when things start influencing us, start having that negative effect on us, where we pick up things and pick up other issues. So going back to myself, maybe 7 years ago, I want to say, I was a very, very different person. So 7 years ago, I was in a job that I hated. I had been pushed into this role. I've been doing it for 8 years. I was exhausted and tired. I had that negative self-talk, putting myself down constantly. I just felt terrible. I looked terrible. Once you sort of hit your 30s, all the things that have happened to you up to that point start really coming out in your body, if they've not done already. So, for example, I got really bad eczema, started really flaring up terribly around my eyes, especially. Bags under my eyes really, really badly. Started having stomach problems, put on a load of weight, just lots and lots of things, just all confounding. And I didn't know why, I didn't understand any different. It just gradually had happened, and that was that. As I say, wasn't in a good place, didn't enjoy my job, felt terrible about myself, was just exhausted, to the point I was crying every single night when I went home. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't feel I had anybody to talk to. I felt so isolated. So all these things got sort of compounded together. I was trying to look for a different job, but as I was doing that, when you're not very confident, that can be difficult when you've got interviews and things and you've got to put your best foot forward and talk about how amazing you are, and especially when you've got bags under your eyes and, just not generally looking great. And then somebody said to me, have you tried hypnotherapy? First of all, someone recognised it, which was a big thing because I was very good at hiding it and I'd hid it for many, many years. But someone noticed, someone paid attention and suggested hypnotherapy. Never heard of it, didn't have a foggiest idea what this was, but I thought, do you know what, let's give it a go. I've tried everything else. So she introduced me to the lovely Angela from Evolve Hypnotherapy, and I went along to a free weekend she was doing at the time. Now, thankfully, Tim, my other half, decided he was going to come and join me, which was great. Sometimes having that one person for support, whether it be a partner, a friend, family member, can make a really big difference. And he said, let's go, let's check it out, let's see what it is. So we did. So the first day was all learning about how the mind worked. Just a little touch on it, but I learned a lot just in that one thing. And then the second day, we all practiced and had a go. So it was a practical. So I bravely, for me, volunteered and said, I'll be the person that you do the demo on. And like that, everything changed. And I do mean like that. So straight away, apparently, physically, you could see a difference in me. The bags under my eyes had just gone. I don't know if you notice when you're feeling a bit down, you sort of slump forward and you have that sort of trying to hide yourself. That changed. That negative voice that I'd heard so often disappeared. I did not know that that could happen. I thought that that's just normal. You just hear this negative voice constantly. No, you can turn that off completely, which I did not know. And it just made such a difference. And I thought, wow, why have I not heard of this before? So that's what took me on my journey of mental health and what's got me where I am here today. So I started off by doing a year's worth of hypnotherapy. I dug in there, sorted all the bits and pieces out, and I have got a video explaining how you can use that for confidence and self-belief, which Tim will pop the link in at some point so you can look at that separately. I won't go into too much detail because we've only got an hour. But I did that, and I then thought I need to learn more, and I then went on the course. So a year of working on myself and then a year of the course, and as you do the course you are still working on yourself as you are learning all the different techniques and different ways to help people. It builds on. From that I met a lot of interesting people and I learned a lot more. It took me down the path of meditation. I did some work on that. People kept talking about Reiki. I wanted to know what that was. I got involved in EFT or tapping. So all these different tools and modalities just sort of came to me on this journey from all these different people and all these different places, and it really helped me get where I needed to go. So that was sort of how I got here, and this is why I want to help as many people as possible, because there is so much out there that can help you. You've just got to find what works for you. So this is what we're about today. I want to talk a little bit about different tools and things that you can use. Some of them you can use straight away right now. Other ones, they're just ideas for you to sort of look into and sort of see if any of them sort of rings a bell with you and you might want to research a bit more. Some practices that I do, some of the things that I can help and support with. Others you'd have to go and seek elsewhere, but I can find places and send you any links if you're interested. Feel free to message me separately about anything to do with that. So the first thing I want to talk about, obviously we've sort of touched on hypnotherapy a little bit, is I want to talk a little bit how our brains work. So like I mentioned earlier, when we're young, up to the age of about 7, we're on record. So all these things that are happening to us, it's sort of creating these pathways in our mind, and these pathways sort of affect how it sort of links how we think, how we feel, and how our body reacts. So for example, say you've got quite a negative influence in your life and you are constantly being told things like you're stupid, oh God, look at the state of you, all that type of things. Even if it's a fly-off comment, it might start off with one person and then it could be other things. A teacher makes a comment. When you're building that neural pathway is being created, all these things are sort of adding on top of it. So they're strengthening that pathway every time, and your reactions will get stronger. So as soon as people make those negative comments, your stomach might go, you might feel a bit, I don't want to look, all these different types of things. So that's sort of what's happening with this. And our anxious minds, when we bring anxiety into on top of it, it's our brain's way of trying to predict the future. So what your brain will do is it will go to the worst case scenario and it will go, right, this is what's going to happen if you do this. If you speak to that person, if you do this, this is what's it. So that's what anxiety is. It's our brain. Our brain effectively is lying to us because it's trying to protect us by creating this future thing and saying, don't do this because this will happen. But if you think about it, how many times has that actually happened? When you have had these thoughts of going through and going, right, okay, this is the worst case scenario, how many times has that ever happened, really? Never. It never has. Because that's what our brains will do. So what we need to do, the first thing I can give you is to just stop and just take a deep breath and go, thank you. Thank you for looking after me. That's really nice. But I'm going to do this instead. Yeah, we don't have to jump onto that thought. So just imagine it like a river, and things are floating past. Each of these things are our thoughts that are going past on this river. Now we can look at them and we can watch them go by and let them go, or we can jump on board. And it's when we jump on board that's when that negative self-talk, that thing starts going, and we start heading down that anxious road. We can stop ourselves from doing that. We don't have to. It is a practice. It is something you do consciously, but you can stop yourself from jumping on that thought. Just accept that that thought came and let it go. It sounds simple, but it takes practice. And there's lots of apps that can help you with this, like Headspace, for example. That's a really good one to sort of help you just think of those thoughts and just let them release. Yeah. If you just did it, just sat there for 2 minutes, just all the thoughts that come into your mind. Oh, I've got to do the washing. Oh, I've got to do this. Oh, I've got to do this for work. Just let them go. Don't latch onto them. Let them go. And when we're doing things like meditation, that's what we're basically trying to do. It is going back to a breath, or going back to something else different. Instead of catching on those thoughts, it's the practice of going back to the breathing, back to the focus point, whatever it is that you're focusing on for that meditation. A lot of people say, oh, I can't do meditation, my mind's always all over. That is the point of meditation. It's to bring yourself back to the moment, back to the breath, whatever it is that you're focusing on. And a great way to start off is some guided meditation. So if you do really struggle, then a guided meditation, you can basically follow that meditation. It gives like a set of instructions, and you basically follow it like someone's reading you a story or a journey. But our brains are very visual. Our brains like to learn that way. So by doing guided meditations, it's taking you down a path to get you to a route where you need to go. So there's lots of these that you can do for confidence and for self-belief. I've got one that Tim will pop in the comments that's got a link to it, which is a great little meditation just to sort of help you boost that confidence and that self-belief. And like we were saying, our brains so often are used to hearing negative stuff, whether it's from other people or whether it's that negative self-talk ourselves. When we're using things like meditation, when we're using things like affirmations, for example, it's our way of reprogramming and rewiring that brain to a more positive way of thinking. So it works for that purpose, and it's also the power of concentration. If you are constantly thinking of negative thoughts, if you are focusing on all of the negativity that goes on in your life, why is this happening to me? Oh, I'm so stupid, why did I do that? All these type of comments, your brain is picking that up. It is very literal and will pick that up as an instruction, as a self-belief, and that will just reinforce those paths that we've already created. And what we want to do with all these tools is create a new path, a new way of thinking. And you will notice as well, especially if you start doing this, maybe make a note of sort of how you're feeling, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fantastic, 1 being really self-deprecating on yourself, and just make a note. And then every week, just score yourself again and see how you go on. Some of these things we can do, like we talked about tapping last week, you can score it as you go. But if you just notice over time and just make a note, I don't know if you do a diary or a journal, you just want to make a note on your phone, and every month just check back in on that and just see the difference it makes. And it's these little differences that make a huge, huge difference in the end to our well-being. And we don't always notice them, but in a month's time, a situation might crop up and you might react very differently than you did a few weeks ago. And that built up over time makes an absolute massive difference. I think I touched on this in one of the other talks that I did, but there was a young girl who, I think she posted this on TikTok or somewhere like that. Again, Tim will pop the link in if you can. And what she did is she talked positively to herself for 30 days and recorded herself doing it every single day. And the difference it made is unbelievable. When you look from that very first video where she was shy, she was not happy with how she looked, straight away to that 30-day period, the difference it made for that young girl was amazing. And all through positive self-talk. That's all it was, positive self-talk every day. And recording it so she could see herself, her improvement. So, have a look at that, check that out. If Tim can't get it on there, I will post it at some point later on just to show you the difference. So, where else can we go from here? So, right, so there's lots and lots of tools that we can do to sort of help ourselves. As I say, with the affirmations, a good one to start off, and this is one that sometimes people struggle with, is these 3 phrases. I love myself. I accept myself. I trust myself. Just repeat that a few times. Maybe start adding one of the taps in with the karate chop. I love myself. I accept myself. I trust myself. Yeah? Just keep doing that. Swap hands if you need to. I love myself. I accept myself. I trust myself. And it's not just about just saying it really blandly. Put a bit of emotion, a bit of oomph in there. The more you do it, the more it's going to convince that brain of yours that that is the case. And if you do that for a few minutes every single day, for 21 days, it will make a difference. Adding the tapping in will also help get straight to creating those new pathways. It'll really help you out because, again, we all know it's using sort of acupuncture points around the body, the meridian points, whatever it is that you want to call it. And it is just getting straight to that subconscious brain and sort of building in there. So that's a great one to sort of do. One of the things, as well as doing the hypnotherapy, I got given lots of other tasks and things to be sort of doing, and that all of them were to help me boost my confidence and get where I needed to. One of them was mirror work. So basically it's about looking in a mirror and saying something nice about yourself. If you struggle to do this with a mirror at first, start off with like a reflection in a glass. But every day, whenever you see a reflective surface, you say your name and that you love yourself. So in my case, it'd be Amanda, I love you. Look in your eyes. It is so hard if you are struggling with confidence and self-belief to do this. However, it is so, so important because it makes such a difference. It really, really does. So mirror work. Now, there's a wonderful author that I've talked about quite often. She does a book all on mirror work. I haven't got that book, but I have got this one. So she's called Louise Hay. This one is The Power is Within You. And she has got a book full on mirror work as well, which gives you lots of different tasks and lots of different things to try that will all help boost your confidence and your self-belief. It really, really makes a difference. So as you can see, obviously I have read these books and I do go through them. So power of the spoken word. So every day declare to yourself what you want in life. Declare it as though you have it. You know, again, it's sort of linking towards affirmations. It's that type of thing. It's about putting it out there, saying it out loud, then getting it out of your system. Let's have a look what else we've got in here. She's got absolutely loads of stuff. She has different topics that cover all sorts of different things. I've got another one of hers on how to heal your life. Now that one's more linking sort of affirmations with, as we sort of said, you feel things physically, things come out in you, so you can have different affirmations linking with different things. So maybe it's your throat, you struggle with your throat a lot. It could mean you struggle to communicate, and it'll give you some affirmations and things and exercises that you can do to help with that. Maybe you have stomach issues, it will give you some stuff for that. So again, have a look at that, but this one's a really good one. So I'll read the back of it and then, you know, there's a great deal of information in this book, but don't feel that you have to absorb it all at once. Certain ideas will leap out at you, so work with those concepts first. if you can get just one good lesson out of this book and use it to improve the quality of your life, then you've made progress. I feel that an important thing to be aware of as you read this is that the power you may be seeking is out there. It's also within you and readily available for you to use in positive ways. May this book reveal to you how very powerful you really are. So yeah, so it's all about inner work, finding what's inside you and working on that. And this is a really good sort of place to start. If you want a little bit more of a scientific one that goes into the details as to why all this works, again, I'm not an expert, but I touch on the surface. Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. He goes into the science of this a lot. So he will break down how the mind works, why these different things work. And I think basically, from what I can remember, I think Joe's story is he had a bike accident. He was cycling in a race, and he's caused damage to his spine, and they said he'd never walk again. As a doctor, he knew how the spine works, and he did a lot of visualization tools, and he's basically up walking and doing things that they said he could never do, all with using the power of his mind to help build that back up. So this is a great book. As I say, he's a doctor. He's got all the technical terminology in there, so have a check of that. So yeah, so there are a couple of things. Another activity that I did, and again, we all, with that negative voice in our heads, we all so often think that people think terrible of us, that people think we're stupid, we're thick, we don't know, we're horrible people. We tell ourselves these stories, but have you actually asked anybody? Have you actually asked someone? One of the things you should do is just have a chat with a family member, a friend, a colleague, and a partner, and ask them, can you tell me 3 words to describe me? That frightened me when I had to do that. I must admit, I was terrified as to what was going to come out. I thought it was all going to be negative stuff. I didn't think there'd be anything nice. And I was pleasantly surprised at the amount of positivity that came my way. And the way people see me. Because the way you think you're perceived is very different to the way people actually do see you. So give that one a go. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. And of course, I went on and said, my therapist said, I've got to do this, so please can you, because I didn't want it to come back on me. And I was apologising to people already, which again, when you're not confident, when you don't believe in yourself a lot, you apologise for everything. Stop apologising. There is no need to apologise at all. Just forget about that. But do try this task. Ask a friend, a family member, a colleague, a partner, someone you love, whoever. You can think of more people, add them to the list. Just ask them to give 3 words that describe you and just see the difference that is. Write those words down. Write them down, keep hold of them and look back at them, because you will need that reminder on a regular basis. So yeah, so that's another task that you can take away with you and do. Another one I want to talk to you a little bit about is called IFS. Now this is something that I don't know a huge amount about this in particular. It stands for Internal Family Systems. However, there is something very similar in hypnotherapy that we do, which is called parts therapy. So it links quite well with this, but I think with internal family systems, with IFS, you're doing it very much with the conscious part of your mind. And with hypnotherapy, obviously, we are working with that subconscious. So basically, have you ever been doing anything, you think, oh, well, a part of me wants this and a part of me wants that, yeah? And that's what all this is about. So the amazing Glennon Doyle and We Can Do Hard Things podcast covered a whole episode on this. It might even have been 2, I can't quite remember, where they looked at what internal family systems was, and they sort of had a go at doing it and using it, and wow, it was brilliant. It made such a difference. Again, we'll pop the link in the comments for you to check that podcast out and that episode out. But it's over here in the UK. Obviously, they're over in America, but there's lots of this over in the UK. In fact, I saw one around here in Cornwall advertised only the other day. is something I'd like to learn a lot more about. And it's basically sort of having a conversation with that part of you. So maybe it's a part that wants to protect you. So maybe it could be a part that either gets angry or gets upset or stops you from doing something. So you want to go out and meet more people, but there's a part of you stopping you from doing that. It's having a conversation with that part. Oh, sorry, Helen. It was called We Can Do Hard Things is the podcast by Glennon Doyle. There we go. So yeah, so you have a conversation with that part. You try and work out why it is. And a lot of these parts are from when we were younger, and they are there to try and protect us. And it's about saying to that part, thank you, you've done an amazing job, but you don't need to do this anymore. I'm an adult now. I can cope with that situation. I want to do this. And then going forward and having a go at doing it. And it's again, we talked previously about convincing that mind of ours that there's a benefit in making this change. And that's what it's all about. Why do you want to change now? Why do you want to do these things? What difference will it make? And then releasing all of the old things that no longer serve us. So yeah, so internal family systems or ifs. Check out that podcast. It does go into a lot more detail on it. And as I say, there is something in hypnotherapy very similar called parts therapy, where we're doing this, but we're doing it with the subconscious mind, and we're sort of working along those lines. So yeah, so check that out. Ifs, internal family systems. Another great thing that we can do is we can work with our inner child. I don't know if any of you have heard of the inner child, but we all have one. It's that little you inside you, that younger version of yourself. And we can do a lot of work with that. We can do it in lots of different types of therapies. There's exercises that you can do outside of it as well. You could write yourself a letter to that younger child. You can do a meditation about that inner child. We can definitely work with it in hypnotherapy. It's one of the things that we can definitely touch on. And you know, if you've had that experience of childhood where you have been hurt, you have been upset, you have had those negative things said to you, then you know, we can work with that. We can tell that little you that it's fine. In fact, let's do a quick exercise on it now. We've got a bit of time. So first of all, what I want you to do is I want you to put your hands on your heart. If you can do it skin to skin, even better. Because already by doing that, you're boosting your well-being. It sort of sends lots of signals to our brain. So do that. Take a nice deep breath with me. Just close your eyes. And I want you to just concentrate on the area in your heart. And I want you to focus on that little you, that younger version of yourself. Just find them. They might be hiding away. Maybe they're sat playing a game. And maybe they're just curled up somewhere. Just find that younger version of you. That could be any age. Whatever age you imagine. Just picture them. Look at what they're doing. What they're wearing. That's it. And I want you to go to that younger you and just give them a big hug. Give them a big squeeze and just tell them how everything's okay. How you're there now. You're going to look after them. You don't have to be afraid anymore. You'll always be there to play with them, to give them love. Tell them all the things that you needed to hear as a child. I'm just going to give you a few moments just to do that. Just concentrating. I want you to step back and hold that younger version of you's hand. Just tell them that you're always going to be with them. They don't have to be afraid anymore. You're there to protect them. And I want you to just leave them in a happy place. A place where they feel safe and secure, knowing that you can go back to them anytime. promising them that you're going to do all the things that you want to do to bring that inner child out. When you're ready, take another nice deep breath and open your eyes. So that is just a little bit of inner child work. If anybody did do it, please put in the comments how that went. I'd love to hear from you. But there's lots of other things you can do. You can write a letter to your younger self. You can get a picture of yourself as a child and just have that on display somewhere and just think on it, smile on it, send it love. Just releasing any of those old things that just don't serve you anymore. And doing things for your inner child as well. What is it that you can do to bring that inner child out, to make you have those giggles from when you were younger? I myself am a huge Harry Potter fan, and I do not deny it. In fact, this room I am currently in is a little library, which I've always wanted to have in my house, and it is adorned with Harry Potter stuff, yes. I have several rooms adorned with Harry Potter stuff. And yesterday I went on a computer game because I've not done it in years. We got one at Christmas and that's what I've been doing. And all of that releases my inner child. When I dance, it releases my inner child. If I read a book, it all releases my inner child. It's all stuff I love doing. Definitely Helen, yes, not one to do at work. Try it later and let me know in the comments after. But yeah, find something your inner child loves, whether that's My Little Pony, whether it's dancing around, whatever it is. Get inspired by that inner child. Do some work and some fun that involve that inner child. Go to the seaside. Go to a fair. Whatever it is that brings that inner child out in you, do it. And do it frequently. Yeah? It makes such a difference, and you are nourishing that inner child every time that you do it. Okay, so that's inner child. So we've sort of covered that. There's so many things I can cover on this topic, honestly. One of the big things that you usually need to start off with when you want to work on confidence and self-belief is releasing the past. Some of these things, that the meditation and things like that, I could not have done until I worked on releasing some of the stuff I was holding on to. I did that with hypnotherapy, but obviously there's loads of other modalities you can do. Obviously there's the IFs that we've talked about, internal family systems. There's talking therapies out there. There is all sorts of things that you can do. Just find what works for you. But I was in such a bad place when I started all of this. I had to release some of those layers before I could then move on to using all these different things. You might be in a place where these things all work straight off. Brilliant. Go for it. Excellent. That's where you want to be. But we're all like an onion. We've got layers and layers and layers of all this stuff that we've got to work on. So as soon as we get rid of one, other stuff comes up. But as long as you can get past that point where you can believe in yourself a little bit, you can step outside and go and do things and see people, and you're not cocooning yourself somewhere. It's that place of fear. Once you get out of that place of fear, you can go anywhere. So yeah, it's about releasing the past, releasing things that no longer serve you, and allowing yourself to step forward. And again, you can do this in many, many ways. You can do it through affirmations. I release what no longer serves me and step into my future. That type of a thing. You can have various things around you that help you to remember to release things and work towards where you want to be. There's meditations, loads and loads of meditations out there about releasing stuff. Visualization. Now, I've got a video on visualization. It's more aimed at setting goals, but you can do this for releasing things as well. In fact, I have got a meditation that we can do. Let's do it now. I was going to do it at the end, but you know what? With time and everything, let's do it now. So this is a really, really quick meditation. just about releasing just one thing. So what I want you to do is I want you to think of one word of something that represents something you want to let go of. Just get that word now. Let's all think of it before we sort of start moving forward, because I don't want you panicking when you're in the meditation. The point of it is to be in a nice relaxed space. So think of one word that describes something you want to release right now. It could be something to do with confidence and self-belief. It could be something completely different. Whatever it is, think of that word for me now. And when you're ready, I just want you to just close your eyes, take a nice, neat breath for me. And I want you to just feel your body just relaxing a little. Just scan that body from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And any areas where you feel a little bit of a tension, just give them a bit of a wiggle, relax, and move down the body until you've reached the tips of your toes. Taking nice deep breaths as we go. With every out breath, releasing, relaxing. That's it. Now I want you to picture for me, just imagine a beautiful sunny day. Blue sky, not a cloud anywhere near. And you're on a path. There's all the greenery around you. You can hear the birds in the sky. You're watching as the butterflies and the bees just move their way around the flowers. Taking in nice deep breaths of all that amazing fresh air. There's a gentle breeze. That's it, you can feel it. And the sun on your face, just gently warming. As that breeze moves through your hair. And I want you to walk on this path, taking in the sights, allowing yourself to relax. As you continue down, you look to the right hand side and you see some steps, some solid stone steps leading to a beautiful beach. You think, oh, why not? So make your way down those steps, each one at a time, relaxing more and more. And at the bottom of those steps, just take off those shoes and feel that sand between your toes. Warming sand. That really dry kind that just sort of falls off you. And I want you to start walking down to that sea. As you look around, not a single person on that beach, just you. You can hear the sounds of the waves lapping against the shore. The seagulls in the sky. All of this relaxing you, calming you. You decide to go for a paddle in that water. Feeling the nice cool water against your warm feet. That breeze blowing your hair and the warm sun on your face. Just enjoying this for a moment or two. And as you look down, you see a piece of driftwood. It's been worn away by the sea. That smooth, lovely piece of wood. And you decide to pick it up and face that sand behind you. And in that sand, I want you to write that word. That word representing something that no longer serves you. Something you want to release. So just write that word in the sand behind you now. And when you're done, just step back. Just look at it. You let go of that driftwood once more. And I want you to just watch that word and watch the sea gently rub it away. Gently wash it until that word has completely disappeared. And as it's going, feeling lighter and more relaxed. It's gone. You've let it go. Feeling proud of yourself as that word completely disappears now. And you once more turn back to face the ocean, taking in that scene one more time. Taking a nice deep breath of that fresh air and feeling amazing. Feeling fantastic. And when you're ready, just head back to that path, walking across that beach, removing the sand from your feet, popping on those shoes, back up the steps and along that amazing path, feeling lighter. And when you're ready, take a nice deep breath and open your eyes. So that is a quick meditation, very quick, on just releasing stuff. There is lots of things you can do. We have done this in hypnotherapy as well. In fact, my other half did the qualification at the same time as me, didn't you, Tim? He's worked with a client and they released a lot of anger, and the difference that made to their life was huge. So there is a lot of releasing that we can do. Again, we can do that working with the inner child. We can do that in general. There's loads of things out there. So just have a check out things to release, to let go, and just see the difference that it makes. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of letting go, there is another podcast I would like to tell you about. And this one, again, I think this one was Glennon's, and it was a lady called Mel Robinson, I want you to say, and it's called the Let Them. She's written a book on it, and it's basically her Let Them theory. So basically it's about recognising a situation or a person that is affecting you, and then choosing to not let them. So, for example, you're in a supermarket, someone's taking I'm glad you love Mel, she's great, isn't she? They're taking a long, long time, and you can either sit there getting yourself wound up and annoyed. I haven't read the book, no, she's only just released it. I have been following Mel for quite a while though, Helen. She's really, really good. But this one, I don't know even know if it's out yet. I'm assuming it is. But she did the whole podcast on this particular theory. So I'm definitely going, it's on my to-buy list, definitely, to get this. But yeah, so it's about just letting them. Let them take the time, let them do. It doesn't affect you. If you jump onto that anger, if you jump onto that frustration, all you are doing is getting yourself worked up, wound up, and you're not feeling great. Let them do what they like. And the second stage of it is then let me. So let yourself, what are you going to do about it? So it's all about this. You're in control of how you react to situations. So it's how you choose to respond. You can choose to respond by jumping on that bandwagon, getting annoyed, frustrated, complaining, or you can just go about your day. In fact, if you haven't got time, put your stuff back, leave the shop. You don't have to stand there and wait. It's all about your choice. Oh, you might be right, Helen, because I was a bit behind with some of my podcasts, so it could be that it was December. It could well be. I will check it out and see. But yeah, it's definitely one that's going to be on my list. She does do a lot of work, does Mel Robbins, so please check her out. She's on a lot of socials, particularly Instagram. She seems to do quite a lot on there. Have a look at her. As I say, she jumps straight in on this podcast. She really does. So check that out and listen. But it's all about, with your mental health, with any of these situations. And one of the biggest realizations that I had, yeah, so many books, so little time. I know the feeling. I have lots. It's about, we can't control what goes on around us, but what we can control is how we react to it. And that is the key to take away. It's something I had to learn very early on. And since learning that, it has made a difference. I do not have to react to certain things in certain ways. I can choose to react differently. And it is a choice. You can do that. It is in your control. What you think, what you do, and how you feel, or how you react. It's a pattern. Yeah? And we just got to stop that pattern. Okay? So that is a big takeaway. And if you don't take anything else away from today, take that away. You are in control. You can control how you react to these situations. Especially with confidence and self-belief, we don't feel like we're in control very often. We don't feel like we've got that power, but you really, really do. With the negative thoughts, you can choose to jump on board with it, or you can step back and let it go. It's hard, it takes work, but it does make a difference. I could never do it. When I was in that situation early on, everything was negative. But I started recognising, I started understanding what I was doing, and I stopped myself. I didn't reprimand myself. I was kind. I stopped and said, okay. I see where I was going here, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this instead. It all takes practice, but you can do it. You know, I am a different person today. And not this new year, new you stuff. I am me. I feel more me now than I have done in a very long time. And I'm not saying that I haven't got stuff to work on. I have. But at the end of the day, I'm in so much of a better place than I ever was. Yeah? And there's lots of other tools and things that you can do to sort of help yourself. So one of the things that I found early on were these things. So these are self-care cards. So it's not a tarot card as such. It's more sort of an intuition sort of card. So you get like a lovely deck. You get a book with it as well. It sort of helps you out. But you get a lovely deck of cards, and it's basically all stuff that you need. So we've all got an inner intuition. We've all got in ourselves that inner knowledge. Whether you believe it or not, whether you trust that or not, is a different matter. But we've all got it. So these cards, basically spread them out and sort of put your hand over them, and any that you're drawn to, pick up. And it will basically tell you something along those lines of what you need to do, or what it is your inner self is trying to get you to look at. So, journal, for example. It could be movement. You need to get more movement in. Yeah. These are just a tool to use to sort of give you little things and ideas of what to do. And it goes in a little bit more detail in the book as to what you can do. So if anyone's interested, they're called the Sacred Self-Care Oracle Cards by Jill Pyle, spelled P-Y-L-E. So yeah, but that just gives you a little thing to sort of set you off with, to start listening to your own intuition, following what your body needs, and just giving you some ideas of what you can do to sort of work with yourself. Now I came up with my own version, which I have at events, and I've given these away before. And basically, they're just little cards with my own sort of imagery on there. It talks a little bit about the topic that I've picked. It gives you some ideas on what you can do to sort of work on that area, some journal prompts, and then some affirmations as well linking with it. So this one is spending time in nature. What I tend to do when you're at an event is I have these, and you just use your intuition to pick one. They're only £1. And they're a great little stocking filler or a gift or anything that you can sort of send to people. But I just sort of made my own up, and it gives you different ideas and things of what you can do. So they're self-care cards. One of the other things you can do, we talked about this before, is about having something positive around you. Your mind learns through something visual. So we talked a little bit about affirmations earlier. So this is one of the things. I love this one. So I am the author of my own story. This resonates with me. I'm as you can tell, a reader. Helen, probably you as well. I'm a huge reader, so that links very well with the language I'd use, and sort of what I've got. There's loads of different ones. This is sort of one of mine. I saw these at events, they go down very well. I've got lots of them. Deep breath, breathe, you've got this. Just positive reminders. If you have them on display behind your computer every day, you are seeing that your brain is picking up on these things and it's helping you to start to rewire your brain. Again, with the self-care card, you can get mindfulness packs as well. So this is a mindfulness pack, a 31-day challenge. I don't even know where I got this one from. I've had it for that long. But again, just going through and picking things out. So things like watch a sunrise, and then it gives you a little bit more detail on the back, so sort of an exercise to do, sort of general wellbeing tools. Where do I do my events? So at the minute I've moved down to the gorgeous sunny Cornwall, so a lot of my events are there. Obviously I do online lives like this, but a lot of my services I can do online anyway. So yeah, I used to do a few up Yorkshire way, and if ever I have to go up there for anything at any point, then I'll probably pick some up, or Greater Manchester, because Tim works up there as well. So yeah, if we're in the area and anything crops up when we're up there, I'll definitely go and give that a go. But most of them, the face-to-face ones, will be down here in Cornwall. In fact, I've got my first one booked in for March in Bude. Yep, that's so the Feel Good Festival. I did that one last year, and that was fantastic. Really, really good. In fact, I did a talk at that one on retraining your brain. So yeah, but I will do some stuff online as well. And if there's anything, anything in particular anyone fancies me doing, please do suggest to make comments. Let me know, and I will see what I can do and get out there. I can do workshops, I can do all sorts of things. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll bob them in there. Let's see. You can do things like a well-being box or a gratitude jar. They're ways to really start rewiring that brain. So I did a well-being box for my friend for Christmas, purely because, like me, she's an avid reader. So I got a box and I put all her favourite books on it. For those of you that know, Fourth Wing, I did the dragons on the front, and I got stickers from Akatar and all sorts of different things. And then inside I just filled it with lots of well-being things, things to boost her, things linked to the books as well. And she's got that, and she loved it. When she opened it, I've never smiled so much in my life, because she rang me and she was so excited. So yeah, so you can do that. You can do it for a friend, do it for yourself, putting things that link to your VACOG system, so visual things. There might be some photos that really boost your well-being or make you smile, or affirmations to remind yourself to say all those lovely things. Put in a mirror for mirror works, and to tell yourself that you love yourself. All these things are so fantastic. Touch, is there anything that particularly boosts you when you touch it? Maybe, again, linking to self-confidence, belief, you've got a favourite top, or maybe there's a pair of gloves or something that just makes you feel happy whenever you see it. Pop them in it. Anything that makes you smile. Create this well-being box. Paint it, put all your heart and soul into it. Do you know what I mean? The more you do, the better it is. The more it's linking to you, the more meaningful it is to you. So yeah, well-being boxes, gratitude jars. Every time, you could have it as a positivity jar. Whenever you get a compliment or a comment, especially if you're struggling with confidence, pop it in there. Make a note of it. I'm just trying to think of the name of the book. Yeah. So I did a boost book was one of the things I did. So I got a notebook. I got something that I liked. I went with Frozen. Why did I go with Frozen? Because I am the one I've been looking for. The song from the latest Frozen film? Yeah. That resonated with me. That song resonated with me. I was like, yeah, it's me. I'm the one that can look after me. Nobody else. So I'm not relying on anyone else. So I used the Frozen book. And in there, whenever I got a thank you, a compliment, a comment, I wrote it down. It's a boost book. Write down accomplishments in there. Write down things that people say that are nice to you. Train your brain to pick up the positive instead of the negative, because it wants to do that. It's easier for it to do that. But if we are constantly focusing on the negative, we miss all these amazing positive things that happen, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at the amount of things that actually happen that are positive for you. So do yourself a boost book. Write your achievements, write your inspiration, fill it with lots of things that make you smile and make you happy and boost your confidence. There might be quotes in there, it might be songs, it could be anything, whatever it is, put it in this book and keep it next to you. And whenever you need that boost, just look back, or once a week, look back, look at all the amazing things that have happened to me this week that I'd forgot about because I was that busy focusing on that one thing that that one person said. Yeah, don't want that anymore. Boost book, concentrate on that. Right, so again, language, when we've talked about language before, it's rephrasing things, reframing things, and there's different ways that we can do this. So there's a NLP exercise that I can show you about reframing. We can also do it in terms of our words. So I'll start with the words and then we'll look at the exercise. So reframe your words. So what I want you to do is I want you to have a piece of paper next to you. Whenever you start going down that negative path, write down what it is that you're saying. Write down the thoughts that are coming into your head, the phrases, the words, and then have a column next to it, and I want you to flip the coin and write down the opposite of that, or write down a kind of version. Treat it like you'd treat a friend. You would never turn around to a friend and say, oh no, you shit, yeah, no, you shouldn't have done that. You would never say that, not in a million years. You'd have sympathy, you'd have kindness, you would rephrase it for them and go, oh, well, if you look at it this way. And that's the kind of thing you need to do. So reframing, write down the negative, have a separate column next to it, flip the coin, do the positive. The more you do that, it will become natural eventually to the point where you'll stop going down the negative path because we've rewired that brain and we'll start being positive. Reframing exercise. This is a really good one to do to show how powerful our brain is and how quickly we can switch our mood up. So, I know Helen, you're in work, so maybe do this one later, but anybody else that's out there, I want you to think of a situation where you've not, that's good, that's positive, and I want you to draw a frame with your hands in front, about A4 size, and I want you to think of in that frame and fill it with all amazing things. Yeah. Just put it all in there, just imagine happy stuff, lots of bright colours, everything going on. And you can control how you feel by moving this. So we've made that frame, we've got it in there, we've got that intentions in. What I want you to do now is I want you to grab the corners of the frame and I want you to pull it. And I want you, those feelings that are in there, feel them getting stronger and bigger. Yeah, so maybe you're happy and excitement. Already my stomach, I can feel it getting the excited butterflies. And you can expand it, play with it, do it smaller, make it bigger again. Keep doing it. Once you've got that amazing feeling and you've made it really, really big, I want you to wrap it around yourself and step into it. Just take a nice deep breath. That is a quick and simple way of changing up your mood. Reframing. Picture frame, shove all the goodness inside, think of those amazing feelings, make it bigger, step into it. Yep. It's an NLP technique, quick, simple and easy, and it can make such a difference and change your mood. So have a go at that. So there's 2 reframing exercises for you to have a go at. We've talked about the boost book, we've talked about inner child work, meditation, hypnotherapy, EFT, we've covered it all. IFS, internal family systems. We've got mirror work in there. We've talked a little bit about anxiety and how our brains work. We've talked about releasing the past. The only thing I want to cover just in these last 5 minutes is I want to talk about future pacing. So we've got a video, I think he might have already posted it, about visualization. If you can visualize a future, visualize how you want to be. I think there might also be a couple of meditations I've got on this as well. Picture that person. We know our brains are visual. We know they learn through visualization. We know athletes use this all the time to get where they need to be. You can use it to create that future that you want. So imagine a mirror. In that mirror, I want you to see that future version of yourself, that future version where you are confident, where you believe in yourself, where when people talk to you, anything negative, it just brushes off you like oil and water, doesn't penetrate the surface. Pfft, don't care, it's fine. Well, you've got that attitude that you want, that confidence, that self-belief. I want you to imagine in that mirror, you can see that you now. What are they wearing? What are they doing? What difference has it made to their life? Convince that brain, explain to that brain, look, That could be me. If I just let this stuff go, I can do this. I want you to get that image, really, really focus on that image. I want you to step into that mirror when you've got it. Step into the mirror, become that person, bring it back with you. How do you feel? What are you doing? Feel, the clothes you're wearing, is it any different? What are the things you're doing that you weren't doing now? Get it all, visualize it, become that person. And when you step back through, bring it with you. Bring that energy with you and keep doing this visualization. The more you do it, the more you're going to get it. Yeah? It's working with that brain, focusing and making sure that you get the confidence boost that you need, because you're amazing. Say it with me now. I am amazing. You are amazing. Yeah? You can do this. With hypnotherapy, the hypnotherapist is not doing the changing. You are. You're doing the work. The hypnotherapist is guiding you to where you need to go so you can get that brain doing what you need to. But you're doing it. It's you. Yeah? You are it. So I want to end this with saying this, and I want you all to say it with me. I love myself. I accept myself. I trust myself. Say it again. I love myself. I accept myself. I trust myself. Those 3 phrases, make them your mantra for the year. Yeah? Now, I'm just going to remind us once again, we are doing this for Mind. We are doing this to raise money for suicide prevention. Please, 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 if you can, donate. It'd be amazing. Share this with people. If you've not been able to watch the live, please still comment as you're rewatching it. Still share it. We're on confidence, we're on self-belief right now. There's lots of other topics I can cover. Maybe there's one that you want me to cover in particular. Maybe anxiety, maybe sleep, whatever it is. Please, please, please make your suggestions, because I have not set in concrete yet what I'm going to do next week. So put your suggestions in. Let me know how you go with all of these exercises. Share the link for Mind. Please donate if you can. Have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to leave it there because we did finish a little bit, well, we started a little bit earlier. So thank you all so much. I hope you can join me for week 3. So we've got 4 altogether in January. Week 3 next Sunday, 10 o'clock. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you all for joining once again. And I will catch you next week. Bye.